Hey everybody, welcome back to my Superman Lois review, Season 3, Episode 7. This episode was actually really awesome and really heavy too, and just the way they showed how much Jonathan really cared about Lois was really actually something like, warming to see. In the previous episode it was about Clark and Jordan, and now this episode is about Lois and Jonathan, right? Yeah, so it's like this family dynamic between, not the dynamic, but more of sharing like each sides of how each character all within the season. I just really enjoyed how that actually turned out with everyone. The stuff that Lewis is trying to do is besides get treatment is try to figure out what's really going on with Bruno, and she's trying to piece things together, and also at the point where she's interrogating her friend who is also getting treatment, which we actually learn a whole lot more in this episode. I don't know how to say her name, but her comic book character starts with an O, I think, so Utopia, or something like that. Jonathan is a little scared of the possibilities of what could happen to his mom and the fact that they're not really communicating with each other, so he has Jordan take him to the fortress to ask Superman's grandma, who's a hologram, about what the possibilities for them to save her, and it's really upsetting for him that this is basically going nowhere and not knowing much about what's really happening in behind the scenes of the stuff that Lewis's treatment, and he's really upset, and rightfully so. And Clark basically heals them and in the fortress, and he confronts Jonathan and says that basically there's something that the Kryptonian technology can really do, which I'll get to in a bit. I don't think that's like, I feel like there's like so many things that happen within who lived in Kansas that made sense for the audience to understand, because the stuff that happened with Martha and Carlard's father that raised him in the farm, they visually passed, and the fact they weren't Kryptonian, that was something that really is in a lot of people's minds, including Jonathan's in this episode. It's really harsh on him too, because it's something that he wants to figure out what's going on, and there's not really there's no communication between the kids and the parents for right now, and that tends to happen a lot with like the parents and kids not communicating in a way. It's kind of a bit factor in this episode of other characters and families that we will later discuss in this episode and this review. Especially with Sarah in this episode, that's something that this is really upset with stuff that happened between Lana and Kyle, and then the fact that Chrissy shows up in a diner getting food, and that's something while they're sitting down, it's something that really bothers Sarah here. Sophie's there too, by the way. Just pointing out there, that's going to be important in the episode, in the review later, believe that. Yeah, so that's, even Lana is actually realizing that the stuff that Sarah said to her, Chrissy in the diner, was a little harsh, and I agree with Lana in that way. However, I do understand why Sarah's upset. It's probably she's not used to her father dating and someone else that's not Lana, and or not dating, but being with Lana. I mean, being with someone other than Lana is something new and uncomfortable, probably uncomfortable for Sarah in that way. It's understandable why Sarah is acting that way. In a way, it feels like she's angry, but not really angry. Like she's not expressing anger, she's just expressing something that makes it feel like she doesn't want to know anything between Chrissy and Kyle, and at the same time, she's also interested in a way, because she doesn't want anything happen to Kyle with her dad. So meaning by that is it seems that she doesn't want him to get her again in that way, or the fact that Sarah doesn't want her mom to feel disappointed in within herself, or letting Kyle to basically move on from her in a way, kind of like between Joven. It's not the same situation, but in a way, they're not. The kid and the parent aren't really communicating as a person, and something that we see through these two right here, Lana and Sarah. I do actually like that Chrissy approached Lana, because I feel like it would have been really awkward if they stretched it out. I just love that they actually did, so that's actually something I really appreciate. It's those two. It's not really confrontation, it's more of like Chrissy talking to Lana too, so she can have Lana understand why she is with Kyle and all these things, and also Chrissy has to understand that, Kyle has his kids as well in the picture, and it's not that she wants to like be called mom or anything like that, but yeah, I don't think we're there yet, you know what I'm saying? If let's go forward between those two characters. And speaking of two characters, we have Natalie and Mateo, right? Yeah, those two are having their lunch date, and John was preparing for the lunch date, and he actually was talking to Lana actually about what to do with the kid, or with his kid Natalie, in a way he doesn't see it's new for him, something that's new to him. So there's a lot of reflection in a way between John Henry Irons and Sarah. There's someone new in the picture there, and so like basically those two have a family member who's dating someone new, and they're new in the picture, so it's a bit something that they need to be used to. The only difference is that Sarah knows Chrissy a little bit more longer than John and Henry Irons knows more of Mateo, so it's really interesting how that is, right? The way so it's more like relationship and communication. Not the dilemma, I want to say, but the dilemma, more of a non-situation either, more of a topic of those two. So there are two characters in a relationship, and there's the child or the parent is dealing, well, not parent, but it's like, oh yeah, in a way, parent, yeah, but it's Sarah, but Kyle is the parent of Sarah, yeah. So it's the parent and the child, and it's something different, it's something new that they brought in to the picture within their life. So that's something that I really find fascinating, and really admire how this show captures raw communication within these characters. I just really love how that is. So throughout the episode, like I said earlier, that Lewis is trying to basically, in a way, interrogate Pia, right? That's her name. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. To the point where she gets uncomfortable because those two like becoming real friends, and if I like Pia was feeling a little uncomfortable with Lewis, because Lewis was asking her so many questions that just feels suspicious in a way, in some way, to the point where she even got off her chair and sat away from Lewis. So then there was like communication going downhill right there. So then we have a little backstory between Bruno and Pia, the stuff that he has trying to build community and rebuild his city, his part of the city, and there's even a name drop of Lex Luthor involved, and the stuff that he basically Bruno wants to do business with Lex, then Pia and Bruno are also in a way together. It's not sure if he's trying to win her over or they were already together, and they were trying to rehash like the relationship in that way. I'm not. It was unclear in this episode, but however, I actually really like the backstory between those two. We get to learn a little bit more about those two's relationship and the way they are with it, how he feels, how Bruno feels about her, and it really does seem like Bruno generally does love Pia for who she is. She doesn't care about her community as well, but just at the same time, she's part of the people that Bruno was talking to. They were all, I feel like they were all working together in some way, so it feels like that ruined her business. If she has that business as well, it, she didn't want, she had to be there to, so it won't be jeopardized by Bruno. At the same time, later on, we know that her character isn't basically really doing much, rightfully so, because of how she's feeling. So Bruno is the one who's in the present day, the one who's not taking charge of how everything is within Pia's life, how he's doing what he can to take care of her, so need to move forward with themselves in their lives. And we see that Sarah and Kyle and Chrissy were supposed to go to a film to watch a movie, and so, but Kyle was working in the station, and there's a little bit of a tension between Chrissy and Sarah because she feels that Chrissy is basically hooking up with Kyle in that way, and that's something that really that's Chrissy upset, and obviously so, and also Sarah is also upset because it's so much. I mean, it's really interesting how that is, and when they were in the diner, I felt like Sarah was maybe felt upset, maybe just they knew that. But she actually, not that they, but Sarah did realize in this scene that I'm talking about right now that Chrissy was to join Kyle and her to the film, but so maybe she wasn't expecting those two to interact later on. She just maybe wanted to keep distance from her and keep some distance from her, and that's what she's trying to do. However, Chrissy tries to talk to Sarah, and in a way, they end up going together. So it's very nice that Sarah's giving Chrissy a chance here. So then we learned that throughout the time when Lois was interrogating Pia, she's talking about her husband and stuff like that, and we find out that Lois finds out that Bruno's actually her husband. And on side note, also Clark was the one he went into Bruno's place to basically do reporting and journalism for Lois, and I really love that clever idea because I really like that idea of that was because Bruno hates Superman. Every time Superman last time when Superman went inside his house, he basically said, "No, go away, Superman." So then, if the fact that Clark walked in instead of Superman, that was actually a clever move. Even something so simple was actually really clever, and we now have so many of these characters in a way opening up to each other, and now it all made sense. It's all coming together, and I really love how now that Lois knows who Bruno really is in a way when it comes to, mostly Pia, on the fact that she's with Bruno, and all made sense, and now they can have more, Lois has more clarity on everything that happened within, and not everything, but most things within the stuff between her and Pia, and I feel like those two can reconnect and become friends if they choose to. And doing all this, Jonathan is in the house trying to figure out why there was Clark and Lois hiding from them, and they actually find Lois's will, which is really upsetting for a child to ever see that, and that's something that I don't know if you about that. It's a little too much. Throughout this episode, we see that John he basically goes to Lana for advice on being the cool dad, and the way he wants to show that he's there for Natalie when it comes to her first time crush and any crushes that she may have in the future. And so I really love the way those two communicated with each other. He even tried to stop Natalie and Mateo from kissing, and then Lana says, "What did we just talk about?" And it really feels like these characters are listening to each other. I just really appreciate a show like this, the way they do this. Even so to the point where John talks to Mateo because he wants to let him know how he feels about the fact that he wants to let the boyfriend know that that's something new for him. That he wants to be with Natalie and everything along the lines of that. So I really love how that is right there. And on a side note, I thought that Mateo and Natalie was going to join the movies of Sarah and Kyle and Chrissy originally. That was my original thought, but it seems like they didn't. It seems like they didn't meet up with each other there. But yeah, just a side note there. And then actually, because of the fact that Sarah learns that Chrissy has, quote, gummies, you know, like, I feel like there's some common ground, and she had a great time with Chrissy in the movies, and even so, to the point when Lana was talking to John, Lana saw Sarah with Chrissy, and then Lana left, and then Sarah saw her. So that's actually really interesting. I just love how it's weird. It's interesting that with John, he approached Mateo, right, and then with Lana, she walked away, and that's when the was interesting. I'm surprised Lana didn't approach her at the same time, I feel like she didn't need to. I don't think she needed to approach, Sarah and Chrissy. So her walk away made sense. It was probably for the best, and for it to be the way the scene was. And I actually really enjoyed the scene so well. One of my favorites in this episode. So then we end up with Lois and Jonathan talking to each other and finally communicating, and now they're now they're understanding why things are the way they are within each other, and now it all makes sense for Jonathan and even Jordan too, on why Clark and Lewis had to hide certain things from them in a way. They didn't want them to be too afraid. However, that was I don't want to say it backfired, but because nothing happened, so it's just that there wasn't enough communication. Even Clark was afraid that if they knew so much, the boys knew so much, they would end up not being, okay in a way. In the very end, right here in the scene where Lewis and Jonathan are talking to each other in Lewis and Clark's bedroom, they understand each other now, and they see their perspective in each other. I really admire that. I really love how fantastic this show is. It's just that is done right, and it does what it needs to do. I feel like there's not much of Superman in this episode. However, I feel like this makes up for it. Honestly, like I don't even mind if Superman's not in this show, in this episode that much, and he wasn't. However, I do like to see more Superman. That would be fun. A lot more Superman than usual is what I'm implying. I don't know. In the very end, even Sarah and Lana are communicating with each other, and I feel like everyone communicated with each other in the very end. Mostly, not too much with John, Harry, Irons, and Natalie. However, I feel like that could probably happen later on throughout the season. And Lana and Sarah want to fire words because that's what Lana and Kyle did back then, and that's why we're Sophie. They just ran out without getting Sophie. So who knows where Sophie was in this episode other than in the beginning. They had her in the beginning also, and then they didn't. So they had her and they didn't. It just, like I said in the previous episode, they always do this with characters. But I don't know what to think about that. I just really love how Sarah is really enjoying her time with her mom. I just really love how those two actually understand each other and care for each other. It really shows a lot about what this show is and what it stands for. I love this. Even with things with Clark and Jonathan, really, I really enjoyed it towards the end because I feel like Clark was a little harsh on Jonathan, and it was a little much for them, for him mostly. And they see the fireworks and words, so it's really enjoyable. I do wish that they showed upstairs with Lewis and Jordan. I feel like if they showed that, they would have wrapped up the episode really well in some way. I just wish they did that, you know. Like all I had to do was just zoom up or something. I don't know. That would have been awesome. And then we see Bruno and Pia go home, and that's everybody. That's who Mateo's parents are. Bruno and Pia, which is actually very surprising and also not for some people. A lot of people online were piecing two together. I did think in a very I said this in my reaction too. I thought that the John Henry Iron's sister from this timeline, I thought that was her son, but definitely it's not. That would have been really awkward if it was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Overall, love the episode. Love how everything wrapped up. No, there wasn't Sam. Sam and Kyle wasn't in this episode. However, that's alright. What do you think about this episode? What do you think about my review? Let me know, and I'll see you very soon. And have a wonderful weekend.